sports fans, this is the track trials breakdown. Actually, I think we're calling it the trials breakdown. This is for day 2. And this is our preview of day 2. We did a review of day 1 already. And we've got an interesting day. It's the first day of the decathlon. The decathlon consists of 10 events. On day 1, it's the 100, the long jump, the shot put, the high jump, and the 400. And it is to determine the world's greatest athlete. The U.S. has a long tradition in great decathletes. Bill Toomey, Bob Mathias, Jim Thorpe. Let's see who's in there. Dan O'Brien. There's Bruce Jenner. Will we have anybody competing for a medal this time? Theoretically, not, but you never know how things are going to change. It's probably Kevin Meyer in France, and a few of the others out there. So this is our day Saturday. We start at 1 p.m. with deck men's 100. 150 is the deck men's long jump. We've got javelin qualifying for the men at 2:15. A shot put for the men, third event. In the deck is at 2:50. 4 p.m. men's high jump, and at 6:18 p.m. the men's 400 in the decathlon. The non-deck events at 4:30 pole vault men qualifying. To see our buddy Sam Kendricks. At 5:04 100-meter hurdles women, you get to see. I think the women's 100 hurdles is insane. To try and qualify is just incredible. We have Kenny Harrison, the world record holder, will be competing, and she is going to be tough to beat. But there are women who are right there. The men's qualifying the triple jump, we're going to miss Christian Taylor, who had a complete rupture of his Achilles and had surgery the next day. Will Clay, one of my favorites. And if you can Google Will's commercial from the American Track League, he directed it. It's amazing. I'm trying to do a little Zoom show with Will and Sam Kendricks because we did something with them last week, and Mike posted it, and it is, check out our field events Olympic trials presser. The last 10 minutes with Will and Sam, well, it's hysterical. But if you guys don't think that they are the next, sports personality TV couple, then, I think you're not inhaling. Men's 100 first round at 5:34. That's going to be tough. I look at Ronnie Baker right now, Mike Rogers, there's a whole crew. We are going to miss Christian Coleman. He'll be back in 2 years. The women's semifinals is 6:03. That is going to be scary because there are women there that it's obviously, I think that Sha'carri Richardson is the one to beat. Her 1084 yesterday was not mind-boggling, but pretty impressive in the conditions that were in Eugene. But you have Jenna Prandini, you have Candace Hill, you have Gabby Thomas, who looked amazing. You have Tiana Bartoletto, who's been there so many times. How does a veteran like that use that to move on? And so there's going to be a lot of drama. The semifinal and the women's 100 is at 6:03. It's followed by the final event of day 1 for the men's deck, the 400 meters, and then at 6:40, women's 1500 semifinals. Jenny Simpson, Al Pierre St. Pierre, Danny Jones, Danny Aragon. It's going to be that's going to be a scary one. because we're going to lose some really good people. And again, Jenny Simpson has won a medal in 5 out of the 7 championships she's run as a 1,500-meter runner. And remember, in 2009, she was a steepler, and she broke the steeple record in 4th. And then we've got the women's discus throw, and Valerie Almond went 70.01 meters yesterday, 229.8, a new meet record, and she looks fab. She is fast. Her feet are good in the ring. She's confident. Coach Zion's got her really focused, and she went from Loiselle to ASICS. Thanks for Loiselle for supporting a thrower, and thanks to Ben Cesar at ASICS for taking her to the next level. I think that's good, and we've got to celebrate sponsors. So the discus throw final will be at 6:42 p.m. Followed up at 7:04 by the men's 800 semifinal. Man, I can't pick Donovan. I mean, Donovan, yeah, of course. Clayton, Bryce Hoppel. There's going to be some surprises, real surprises. And the men's 800 is really hot right now, and I'm curious to see who can do what. That's at 7:04. Then the women's 400 semifinals. Boom. Lynna Irby, what do you think? It's going to be interesting. At 7:35, the men's 400 semifinals. I think there's going to be some surprises there. Mr. Norman is pretty damn fit. Vernon Norwood looks great. I'd really like to see Vernon put it all together. And we're going to end at 7:51 p.m. with the women's 100 finals. How fast will they run? Will we see a 10:70? I don't know. I mean, I think the track, Hayward Field is fast, very, very fast. I suspect we'll see swirling winds in the pole vault. I suspect we'll see some interesting winds with the jumps. Can they run 10:70, 10:75 in Eugene? I think Sha'carri can run anything that she wants. She will lead the field, but for people to make the team, I think it's going to take at least 10-8. Aaliyah Hobbs. Who's your pick? Think about it. But it's going to be fantastic. Day 2 should be killer from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. A lot of people then go to the Wild Duck Cafe afterwards. You'll see me there a few nights, seeing some friends. There's always good libations and great food, and it's a few blocks from the stadium. And our friends at On Running and my spiritual mentor, Peanut Harms, is doing some things there. Just for the record, my spiritual mentors were Peanut Harms, John Paul, the discus thrower, and Jan Johnson, the pole vaulter, among others. I put Harry Mara in there too, one of the finest coaches in the country. But day 2 is going to be solid. And I'm also kind of pleased that they moved the women's 10,000 around and the women's 5s and stuff. I just think that this schedule is pretty awesome. So you're going to probably ask me now, Larry, what do you think of the new Hayward Field? I love it. I'm having Motel 6 coffee right now. I haven't had my real, as most people who follow me know that I try to control my drugs, and coffee is my drug of choice. Best coffee for me in the world, Pete's Coffee. Starbucks is okay, but Lavazza's before that. Sleepless in Seattle, the coffee in Korea, pretty damn good. Costa Coffee in the UK, like it. But anytime I can go to a small little place, in Dutch Bros in Oregon, yeah, I think I visited there 100 times in the last month because I was traveling around Oregon with my girlfriend, and we saw her lovely daughters and granddaughters. My charming son hadn't seen Adam for 15 months. And of course, we met in a German brew pub several times. Doppelbock, large Doppelbock, and wild boar sausage. Okay, just the combo. Adding in there. But so Hayward Field, let's get back. So I love the old Hayward Field, as you guys know. First time I got to be there live. Dan Durante, my coach at Santa Clara University, sent me up to be inspired, and got to spend a few days with Paul Dre. Ran the Cascade Runoff 15K, and thought I would be cool and run with some of the elite women, and ran with Marty Cooksey for a while, and then about 5 miles, caught up with Lorraine Mahler and was running with her, and each mile got tougher and tougher. And as we were running down the last 2 miles, we dropped to 5:08, and I was running pretty, all out, and Lorraine dropped a 5-minute last mile, and she went 51:40 to my 52:08. Total respect. Besides her kicking my butt in, board games, she was in the Olympic bronze medalist in the marathon. Lorraine was just a killer downhill runner. So 1980, and I fell in love with the place, the old Hayward Field, and every time there's a championships, I could hear the Aggies, Hoka Aggies now, and that whole intellectual group cheering and making comments, and they were always fun to watch events with. But then I'd have to go back up to Mountaintop and do some work. I miss the old stadium in just its history, but I love the new stadium. And I love the new stadium because it's a cathedral to the sport. It is a sanctuary of sport. And give me a minute, it's Motel 6 coffee. But so here's the deal. In the Middle Ages, the church, Christian church, built these big spires and these huge cathedrals because most of us at the time were rather illiterate, but we knew when things were big, it was beyond our comprehension. And the Mass was in Latin, so no one knew what the hell that meant back then. So the Cathedral Notre Dame was God is big, God is all powerful, worship him, And sports stadiums are like that too. Sport is big, sport is all powerful, worship us. Think about that, sport is our second religion next to money. But it's part of that second religion. We needed a really good track stadium. Now, in Zurich, the Letzigrund Stadium is fantastic. In Paris, Charlotte and Arriva, fantastic. There's small venues. There's a couple on my list. The Golden Spike in Ostrava, that our friend Alphonse Duke puts on. And then Martin July, in honor of his dad, Istvan July, puts on the July Memorial that everybody raves about. Tiana Bartoletto went 10 minutes on one of our socializing the distance things about how cool the place is. So there's these cool little stadiums, and then there's these great big stadiums. And, I got to hand it to Phil and Penny Knight. If you're going to pop $200 million into a stadium, they did a pretty damn good job. It's nice seeing pictures of Rudy Chapa up there among the other athletes, Jenna Prandini, non-Nike athletes, which I think is really cool. When I talk to the people that are involved with the stadium and trying to put events on there, they said, look, we're trying to be brand neutral. Now, I gently remind them that there's a lot of Nike people around there, in Eugene, is Nike town, except when there's 20 ill-advised protesters talking about, Nike being a $50 billion company, which I got to enjoy yesterday. I felt that was back in 1980. I respect protest, and as a recovered Marxist, I think that when you're 19, 20, 21, being a communist, being a Marxist is really cool. And then you kind of expand. But anyway, they did their legal protests and stuff like that, and they were allowed to do their thing. But the stadium is about giving back. This is a legacy for Mr. Knight and his wife, and I think it'll be there for a long time to come. I think it will celebrate the sport. I believe, though, and let me give you this caveat, I would love to see the pre there. I love coming in for meets. I love the Olympic trials there. But we also need to have things at Mount Sac. We need to have things at Stanford. I think there should be diamond leagues, quite frankly, in Eugene, Stanford, and Mount Sac. And if the Diamond League folks don't get that, West Coast time, big money TV, you really want to get Americans behind track and field, put that together. Support Drake. Drake's doing a great job. And let's find a venue on the East Coast to do a major meet. Randall's Island, I like, but New York is so expensive. And unless New York's going to really be cool to people, I do like what Adidas is doing with the street meet in Boston. I think there should be 6 of those around the country. And I'd like to see some other brands, Puma on. One of the best things that's happened this year, of course, is a digression, are what I'm calling the bespoke meets. And they are, the guys like Jesse Williams, the Farmer Brooks sports marketing guy, the Miles of Trials people, Trials of Miles, and Chris Chavez at Sidious. Paul Doyle, one of my favorite managers, goofs, putting on meets. Here's my caveat. When you're doing TV, you better do it well. When you do half-ass TV, it takes away from the sport. That's 1. 2, there are sponsors outside of footwear companies. I'm trying to work with some right now that we can bring in, from booze companies to car companies. They do it in Europe. The better we tell the stories, and what track and field about is telling stories, the more women we're going to attract. In the UK, women are the biggest demographic for BBC Sports. Men obviously watch it, but women watch a lot of track and field. NBC's got a great crew with Boland, Paul Swangard. The Australian gentleman, I apologize, I'm having a brain fart on your name, but I'll say something nice about you later. Carrie Goucher, Sonia Richards, and we've got a decathlete in there too. He's married to Jan Johnson's daughter, and I remember his name. Again, I've screwed that one up, so I have to say something nice about him because he always did great interviews with me. But we've got a great TV crew. Trey Hardy, thank you, Mike Deering. Trey Hardy is one of my faves, and Trey did a killer interview with me in 2011, but also he may not remember, in 2007, I was rather hungover, and him and was it Ashton? May have been Ashton. Him and Ashton did fun interviews at the Nike Center, and were pretty good with my 30 minutes of questions. So, Trey, you did a nice job on TV so far, and you know what? Just nerd out, man. Give more of the geek stuff, because that's what people love. It's Dwight Stone's, the credit that Dwight should be given is that he knew his events and he did his homework. One of the things I like about Kara Goucher is Kara's doing her homework. And Kara had the self-knowledge to apologize for using the wrong pronoun with Nikki Hiltz yesterday. And, there's some people who say, well, what does that matter? Here's what it matters. We look at the TV crew as like our representatives, and we identify with them. And you guys have a chance to educate, and you're doing that. And Kara did it very classy, and I'm quite impressed. Not surprised, because I thought she could be a TV person from, 10 years ago. But she's doing it well. And NBC, congratulations, is a good crew. So getting back to Hayward Field, I think Hayward Field, the old Hayward Field, I liked, and people are going to talk about it. And over 5 years, people are going to cry. But Mike Finelli, I think, is enjoying the new stadium, and so is the rest of the crew at Wild Duck. And I just like to see more people in there. It's going to be apparently 5,000 to 9,000 people watching the meet over the next, or being at the meet the next few days. I want the athletes to be celebrated, and that's the key. And with that, I'm going to go find some breakfast, probably Magpie Coffee, because they make great Americanos and they do a nice little vegan bowl in the morning. And actually not a vegan bowl, a veggie bowl, because then I add a poached egg to it. So it can't be vegan, can it? So anyway, I'm going to get some breakfast, and then I've got to write a nice piece on the 10,000. And then Laurie Schatz, who's a professor of sports journalism at the University of Oregon, and I have worked together, I think it's the last 3 Olympic trials. And she provides for me 3 or 4 young writers. And what I do then is we edit them, and we, thanks to Laurie, and we get different views of what's going on at the Olympic trials. Please read Run Blog Run Daily. Sign up for our newsletter. It's free, and you get 10 or 11 pieces each night. Justin Legat, our Kenyan senior writer, is covering the Kenyan Olympic trials right now. I've got to post day 2 in a few minutes. And then Dave Hunter. Dave is our East Coast senior writer, and he will be doing a daily piece. We'll see that in a little bit. And then our European senior writer is Stuart Weir, and Stuart will keep us informed from Europe. And then we also are fortunate to work with Alphonse Uke, who does EME News, which is a daily news service. And then we work with a few other folks and are lucky enough to get to work with them. So, and because I've got a new computer, so yeah, here's the computer story. Some of you've heard it, but some of you haven't. I had the same MacBook Pro from 2016 on. And what I would do, because MacBook Pros have a lifespan with me of about 18 months, and then they literally explode or just turn into mist. I was buying rebuilt ones, and my brother gently admonished me that I should really get a new one. And so I went and got a new one. And let me tell you, when all the letters are working, which is what's happening now, I don't have to paste anymore, when the Wi-Fi works, and I even got a little iPad too, so I can be like, super organized. But during the meets, what I'm doing is posting on RunBlogRun and Twitter and Facebook for all of our sites. I use a buffer service to do that. And we've got photos from Kevin Morris and Courtney White, and we'll have some photos from USATF as well. And then I write in the evening, and I go over to the Graduate Hotel, which is the old Hilton. I grab a little dinner because it's one of the few places that has food still, and write, and then get a little bit of editorial comments from from some of the folks at the hotel. But final thing, USATF. This hub that they're doing is fantastic. So what we get is, like right now, I've got my phone here, and I've got the schedule. I've got quotes. So all the interviews we do are turned into quotes too. You'll see I had a bunch of quotes with Ryan, and I wrote for 2 hours last night, and then I came back and collapsed. Didn't even watch Colbert. But hats off to USATF for the remote support they're giving, and I think it's going to help people cover stuff. They really limited the number of media like me in the stadium, and the number of photographers is down to virtually nothing. I was rather frustrated that my brother, my son, and Mike Deering, who have covered between them, I think, 7 world championships and a couple Olympics, were unable to come in, but I also understand the issue. I'm not admonishing USATF. Um, I'm giving them a job well done, but it's still a challenge. And I just got a note that Dave Hunter's piece for day one is arriving. So I'm going to go over to Magpie, grab some coffee, give Mike Deering a break. And so ends Trials Breakdown. This is day two. The production manager is Michael Deering. He's also the guy who teaches me how to pronounce people's names. And then my name's Larry Eder. We're at RunBlogRun. If you like RunBlogRun, subscribe to our YouTube channel, okay? We've got about 2,700 videos and audios up there. We also, last year alone, we did 369 videos, all produced by Mike Deering and production manager Mike Deering. And we had some audios too that my brother Brian put together on SoundCloud. But this is a team effort. We have a lot of fun. The name Socially the Distance, the name's Athletics Chat, the name Conversation with Larry, which I did not know that Mr. Deering meant that it's a one-sided conversation, but you know, my girlfriend calls them Larry's monologues. So anyway, thank you for watching our stuff. Please pass it around, and that way, you know, I can, you know, go to Taco Bell again. Okay. Anyway, stay safe. When you have to wear a mask, wear a mask. Please get vaccinated. You know, Bill Gates' little chip has not bothered me. I get to watch Russian hockey games, you know, through my little special Bill Gates glasses, and then I get to listen to Cuban baseball games. Which seriously, when I lived in St. Louis, from midnight to 1 a.m. on Sunday nights, KOMX would get kind of weird. And I would get Radio Havana, and I would hear dos y dos, tres y dos, Pepsi Cola. No Pepsi Cola, just Fidel Castro. But you know, it was baseball in Spanish, Cuban Spanish. It was totally cool. Anyway, I've digressed again. I'm going to get some real coffee. If you're in the stadium, say hi. And I'm hoping to go over to Wild Duck tonight to have a nice tea, say hi to some people, and you know, be admonished. Anyway, stay safe. Talk to you soon.